Hello, everyone. I'm sorry, I always start my videos with hello, everyone, and I need to stop that. Okay, so here's physics 1112, and we're going to do a little web work action. Okay, so you go into D2L. This is the first thing you'll see. And we'll go to content, and then I've pushed web work right up to the top. Okay, so WebWork is going to be right there. It's an external learning tool. I still want to edit this a little bit so you guys will... for those who aren't watching this, I'm going to put a little thing in after I get done here that talks about how to enter stuff into WebWork. But let's go. So here's WebWork. All right, so we've got all these homeworks, okay? And each one is for the next week. All right, so homework 1 is this week, homework 2 is next week, blah, 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 all the way down to the last week. And homework 14 isn't going to be graded. There's a ton of problems in it, and when it's open, you'll have the answers right away, and then that way you can study for the final. So let's do homework 1. Homework 1. So let's do... let's do an easy one. Let's do problem 6. Let's see what's happening here. So, and these are just basically designed to help you guys get into WebWork, okay? You may not have the same numbers as I do. I don't know if they've changed the numbers or if this is all the same thing, but this problem demonstrates a WebWork question that requires you to enter a number or a fraction. So if you want to evaluate this expression, so we do 125 minus 257, and we want the absolute value of that, and we're going to do that over the absolute value of -7. So first of all, the absolute value of -7 is 7. So in the denominator, we can write 7. But the numerator, 257, is larger than 125, right? I got to get my calculator out. So minus 257, let's plug in 257, make it negative, and then we're going to add 125 to it. 257 negative 125 plus, that's minus 132. However, we want the absolute value, so 132 over 7. Okay, now it says give your answer in decimal notation correct to 3 decimal places, or give your answer as a fraction. Okay, so let's do the first thing, and we'll take our 132 and we're going to divide it by 7. And we get 18.857. Okay, so let me plug in 18.857. All right, great. I hit go, so that's what happens when you hit go. But let's check our answers. You guys don't have correct answers. I do, and I can't show you what it looks like to be a student, so just imagine that I don't have that, because I'm not going to use it. So mine's correct, okay? Now, let's go back a little bit and plug in what we came up with is 132 over 7. So let's plug in 132 divided by 7. All right, and we'll hide the keyboard. We'll come down here and we'll check that answer. Yes, also correct. Okay, so good. I'm not WebWork, okay? So when WebWork's doing their thing, I really want, on a test, I don't need to do work. No work needs to be done by me. WebWork will do these fractions for you, but I'm not going to do this on a test. So I really do want you to write out 18.857 or 18.85 or 1.886 times 10 to the minus 1, that kind of thing. Okay, so but this is web work, and web work can take. You might need to put all kinds of digits in there to get stuff right. Okay, so should we do the previous problem? Let's do the previous problem. This problem demonstrates a web work problem involving graphics. The simplest functions are the linear or affine functions. Linear, don't worry about affine. The functions whose graphs are a straight line. They're important, of course, because we love linear relationships, right? And of course, we mean locally, because if it's if you zoom in close enough to any line, it's straight, right? If you zoom in very much, a lot, it'll be straight. So that's here nor there. Enter the letter of the graph of the function which corresponds to each statement. So the graph of the line is increasing. All right, so I don't know, pause, whatever. You guys, hopefully you'll know that we're talking about from left to right, right? Because the x-axis goes from the left to the right positively. So as that does, you want something where your y function also goes increasing, right? So it has to be b. So we'll come over here, we'll show our keyboard, we'll hit B, and then we'll hide our keyboard. Sorry, I'm doing this on a pad, and it's only so I can record it. Okay, so the graph of the line is decreasing. Well, is it A? No, that doesn't increase or decrease. C definitely decreases. So let's go to C. We'll show the keyboard. And we're going to come here and we're going to put C in there. Okay, we'll hide the keyboard. All right. 3. The graph of the line is constant. Okay, so let's do constant. If it's constant, no matter what x we give it, A shows that that line doesn't go up, it doesn't go down, it remains constant. So we're going to go with A for this one. Here we go. And we'll get rid of the keyboard. And we'll go to the fourth one. The graph of the line is not the graph of a function. Well, you guys probably haven't had calculus, and that's fine. But functions require that you have a one-to-one relationship. So for every x, you have one y. But if you have only one x, I don't know what that number is that it's at, but it could be, I can't read it. It's too small for me. Can we zoom in? Okay, so what are we looking at? -2. So for every -2, you've got an infinite number of answers, right? That is not a function, okay? So we're going to come over here, bring up our keyboard, and D is obviously the answer there. So good. Now what I'm doing is crossing my fingers and hoping that BCAD. I'm hoping that we don't have to make them uppercase. Okay. So let's submit our answers and see what happens. And I'm not going to submit. I'm just going to check. You guys submit. You have to submit. I'm checking, but you should submit. Okay, so good. We did that one right. Okay, let's go to the previous problem. So we're going to problem number 4. All right, here we go. The problem demonstrates a WebWork matching question. Okay, match the statements defined below with the letters labeling their equivalent expressions. You must get all the answers correct to receive any credit. Okay, so there's, it's tougher. All right, so x is greater than -6. All right, so let's come down here and say that x is greater than -6. Normally I would make you guys shout it out, and I can't hear anything from you. So X is greater, I mean, it's obvious that that's B, right? I mean, it's not greater than or equal to. So we're going to do B. All right. And now X is less than minus 6. X is less than minus 6. That's D. So we're going to go to D. X is less than or equal to minus 6. Less than or equal to minus 6. That's A. All right. X is greater than or equal to minus 6. X greater than or equal to minus 6. That's C. And the distance from X to minus 6 is less than or equal to 3. So that actually is E, all right? Because we're subtracting X. We're subtracting minus 6 from X. But if you subtract a negative from a number, then you're really adding a number to it, okay? And it has to be less than or equal to 3, and that is E, okay? So all of those things fit, and we should be good, okay? Now you can read about it. Go back when you're doing this problem. Go back through and read what the ideas are here to encourage you and all that. So let's check our answers. Oh, okay, we did a great job. All right, so here, problem 3. We're going to do problem 3. I'm going to have to make a mistake so we know what happens when I make a mistake. Excuse me. This problem demonstrates a WebWork true-false question. Enter a true or a false in each answer space below to indicate whether the corresponding statement is true or false. You must get all the answers to get all the credit. Okay. So is minus 2 less than or equal to minus 2? Yes, it is equal, but it's less than or equal. So it is equal, so this has to be a true. But I want to make sure that we do something wrong, so I'm going to put a false there. And, okay, let's do pi. Is it greater than or equal to 3.1416? Well, 3.1416 is a little bit high, right? Because it's 3.141529 or something like that. So I think 3.1416 is a great estimate, and I would use that number as an approximation, but I think it's a little bit high. So if that's true, it is greater than, pi is not greater than that number. It's less than that number. So, and it's certainly not equal to that number. So this is a false statement. But because it's false, I'm going to hit true. All right? I'm trying not to confuse you guys because I'm trying to get them all wrong. All right? We're going to get all these wrong. All right. So I'm doing the opposite. So 2 minus 1. 2 minus 1, everybody knows that. It's 1, right? 1 is less than or equal to 2. Correct. It is definitely less than or equal to 2. So this is a true statement. I'm going to say false because I'm trying to get it wrong. Minus 8. Is it less than minus 8? No. So minus 8 is equal to minus 8. It is not less than. So we have to say that's a false statement. So I'm going to say it's a true statement, and hopefully we'll have all of these things wrong. So let's check our answers. Incorrect every single step of the way. All right? So I'm going to go back in. I'm going to correct my false to a true. I'm going to correct my, I got to correct my true to a false. Let's do this again. False to a true. And this false to a true. And this true to a false. Okay, I think I did that right. Let's see. Let's check my answers. Okay, all right. So I think you guys get it. This is what it's all about. There's one other thing that I want to show you that isn't here. It isn't available. And I think it's important. What's the next, what's the previous problem? Yeah. Okay. So we can enter a function in WebWork. Let's do this one. All right, first enter the function sine of x. All right, when entering the function, you should enter sine with 2 parentheses and an x in the middle. It'll also accept just straight up sine x or even sine x. If you remember your trig identities, you can enter those things in what have you. So I can input sine x. Oh, that wasn't an x. Why did this keyboard is so small? Okay, so sine x. Use the preview button to see what you get. Let's just preview. Let's just look and see what we've got here. What do we got? Okay, so I entered in sine of x. That's what we got. Now, WebWork will evaluate functions such as sine before doing anything else. So sine of 2x means first apply sine, which gives you sine of 2, and then multiply by x. So let's try it. Let's put in sine. And I'm actually going to do the parentheses. So let's see what we get. We'll preview our answer. So nice, right? Okay. Now enter the function 2 cosine t. So we'll come over here and we'll say 2 cosine, and then I'm going to do parentheses because I like to be clear about what I'm entering in. So I'll preview my answers. Okay. Let's check some answers, and we did okay. All right? Okay, so that's that. Now, let's pretend, imagine that this problem is a different problem. It's not the same problem. We've got some other thing that they're asking us to do. Okay, so they're saying we want to know what 4 meters minus 2 meters is. 4 minus 2 is 2, right? So 4 meters minus 2 meters. Well, first of all, we're going to go there and we're going to say 2. But they want units, okay? Because units are going to be important. So how do we enter units? Well, here you see some quotes. You have to enter in quotes, okay? Then you can enter in your unit, okay? So you put the quotes, then your unit, and then you check your answer. You can preview your answer, whatever. Now, it is an unexpected character at this point because they don't want units. They don't understand what's happening right now. Why are you doing this? And they don't know that I'm trying to teach you guys stuff. But what if you want 450.256 joules? So we'll go 450.256, and then we want joules. So I did a space. I'm going to enter in this, and then I'm going to go to, I want joules. Okay, so joules are capital J. So you're going to have to put the capital J, and you preview that. It won't have this unexpected character thing anymore. It'll be like this little box that shows up once you put in the parentheses, and it will work. Everything will be great, and that's how you add your units. Okay, so I think that sums it up. The unit thing is the thing I'm going to add, just so that everybody knows how to do it. And that is how to do WebWork. So congratulations, you guys need to do your own homeworks, but at least I've done these problems with you, most of them. Okay, so almost all of them. All right.